The alpha stage is the stage where everything comes together. You've done your pre-production, you know what 47 is able to do, you know what the AI is able to do, and now you start piecing together all the levels, building them first of all, getting all the assets in, if not polished, but they're in, right? So you know what people are saying, what characters are there, what weapons are there.
Hey! Who's screwing about?
This is the first time you really play it through and through, and also the entire game. You start getting your horizontal slice where you get every level after one another. You get the cutscenes in. You start seeing how does the story fit with the gameplay. You see if you have some levels that need love in terms of intensity, or you can see that how they fit pacing-wise. So if you've been hard-pressed, as you know, in our E3 level, Run for Your Life, we really showed this. The police are now hunting you. After that, you also need a little bit of a breather saying, okay, relax, you're allowed in this place. We have a strip club, for instance, where you're pretty much allowed to roam wherever you want, and you have to do a hit as a pace change from being always chased by police. So that's the point in time in alpha where you actually start understanding the different elements, how they really fit together. Obviously, you know your ideas up front. I mean, we plan all this stuff and we talk about it, but that's when you see it the first time. And then we go into beta, which is about saying, okay, now all the stuff is in there. We believe we have the pace in the game as we wanted to. We believe that we have the different events mapped out as we wanted, and the gameplay feels varied when we look at the game as a whole. Every line of voice acting has to be recorded by real actors.
Birdie was right, he's in Hope, South Dakota.
And the girl?
She is not with him.
47's moveset is final and complete. You go into the details of the minute or by minute actions, or the sometimes second by second stuff.
Sometimes gameplay wise it kind of fell off slightly, so then we had to pull back and say how can we kind of refocus the level into something that is more interesting to play and more engaging.
And for the AI, you know, how long they give chase, so how should that play out? Second by second, not just mechanically, but what is he saying? When does the voice actor start upping his projecting, telling you to freeze? All that stuff we start fine-tuning at this point.
Who the hell are you?
And then it might be something with the lighting, it might be that we need to add some rooms, even subtract some parts of the levels that didn't really serve a purpose with the gameplay that was changed. Also, since the AI is constantly evolving, there are also things in the level that might change due to the AI suddenly being able to understand more or see more. Then we have to maybe remove some characters because it got too difficult, or add new guards to an area because they got too easy, stuff like that. So there's a lot of adjustments to be done on everything.
So the kind of the polished experience gets to be there. That's also typically where the music, you know, both the generic music system that kicks in all the time, but also the individual level scores, they really start making it in, and you really get the appreciation of how is the final game going to look. At this point, it's about understanding the entire thing, the whole, if you will. So the connection between how the AI is working now, how 47 is working, how the levels are coming together, what the player understands at that point in the game, how good is he at this point in the game, you know. Because we constantly have to raise the bar a little bit, make the game a little bit harder. As you progress, you start understanding the game better, right? So at the moment, we're really trying to understand, you know, at what point in the game do you understand these concepts completely, and we can start playing with them or turning the tables on you. So balancing it and also saying, okay, we focused very much on one difficulty level, now it's focusing on all difficulty levels. So making sure that the experts really get their match, and also making sure that people who maybe just be there for the story, that they also get a good and meaningful experience.
Now while we're in beta, it's much more a qualitative milestone where all the directors are extremely busy with the team, working, you can say, quality into every single moment and every single level of the game. We also had new findings both from the team, and every week we do new user research and new external feedback on the levels that we also feed back into the backlog, saying that these are things that now we have to address. We have a number of levels every fortnight that we put into focus, and then from a direction point of view we will set some high-level goals, and then during those 2 weeks, the teams in those levels will be working very closely with the gameplay director, art director, audio director, and myself in finishing off those levels into a proper beta stage. And then when that's done, we will move other levels into focus. So we'll get through everything in this kind of beta phase. It's a negotiation who has to cover certain kind of story gaps or transition difficulties, you could say. They would say, okay, the level guys would say, oh, we'll deal with that in the cutscene. The cutscene guys say, no, it's not going to happen. We can't do that. We don't have any facial. We don't have the scene itself. Whatever reason, it might be too expensive, or we don't have time. Then it's okay, fine. What do we do? Do we do it with the GUI? Do we do it on the level itself, just making a sequence that leads up to it? So these are all negotiations that we'll have to take with the team and finding the best solution. Of course, everybody just wants to make something that is great. So they're trying to kind of push themselves as far as possible, but I mean, sometimes it's just beyond the breaking point, right? And I mean, we also want a team that can survive the entire beta phase, and ourselves included. It's just wasting our time, to claiming it fixed all the time. They have to check it in a build to see that it works, not in the editor.
I agree. And then general beta deliverables, you've got pigeons are strange.
Where was that?
Is that an observation or a task? Okay. Pigeons are strange when you're a stranger.
Everyone is working long hours to make the game happen. It's a point in time where most of us are actually pretty tired. I don't know if I look sleepy, but most of us are actually. We spend a lot of time here at I/O really trying to polish the game.
It's pretty tough, especially on the leads and the game management, because the management is in crunch throughout the entire period, while parts of the team might be in crunch at different phases, because their levels will come into focus, and then they will kind of work on the general backlog until something else comes into focus. So we're trying to find a way to not put too much pressure on every single person at any given time, but it is a very difficult balance, right? Because there is a lot of work to get through, and we need basically all hands on deck to pull through with this project. It is incredibly large and ambitious project.
It's also a period where the hard work pays off, because that's when we can seal off a level and say, now this is actually done, and we can see it for what it is, and that's a good thing, right? You see how the cutscenes are really conveying the story with emotion. You can really feel what the game is about, and then you jump into a level with a feeling inside that you didn't have before, and now the level plays out in a different way, and it's also not very buggy, it's pretty polished. So this feeling carries over until the next cutscene that now triggers, and you start understanding what is the experience really that we are building. So on one hand, it's a period of hardship, if you will, because we're really working hard. And on the other side, it's also a period where people start falling in love again with the game.